Welcome to our YouTube video about our trip to Tanzania and to the Serengeti National Park.
Jumbo!
So, of course, we went to Tanzania because we wanted to go on a safari. And in this video, we will tell you everything about what to expect when you go to the Serengeti National Park. And we will summarize all of our tips for your trip to Tanzania.
First of all, what you need to know when you travel to Tanzania is where to arrive, because this is sometimes a little bit difficult. There are several airports, and when you want to go on a safari, you need to stay in Arusha. This is a little city in the middle of Tanzania, and the closest and cheapest airport close to Arusha is the Kilimanjaro airport. So try to find a flight to this airport, and then from this airport to Arusha, it's about 1 hour by car. So after almost missing our flight, we arrived on that airport and a driver from the hotel picked us up, and this costs around $50 when you book it in advance. We arrived, we are at the Kilimanjaro airport, just went through immigration. This was the nicest border control ever.
Yeah.
They were really friendly. We have our luggage. And now we're waiting for a taxi after this, going to Arusha.
We wanted to book our safari in advance, and we found like hundreds of safari companies on the internet, and in the end we decided to go with a little safari company named Simba Adventures. And to have the possibility to see as many animals as possible, we decided to go on a 4-day and 3-night trip, and it costs about $1,000 per person.
So the first day after arriving, we were just relaxing in Arusha, and there wasn't that much to do. But we needed a day because we went to that company where we booked a safari and we paid, and we talked about like the whole route for these 4 days. And to summarize where we went, and I think at least this is what the guides told us is quite a good tour, is to go first to the Tarangire National Park. The second stop was the Serengeti National Park. We stayed there for 2 days, and on the very last day, the 4th day, we went to the, and I really can't really pronounce it, Ngorongoro conversation camp, right?
Conversation area, I think. Doesn't matter. And before we start to talk about the really important stuff about our experiences on the safari, we want to give you a few tips in advance. So the first thing is bring warm clothes, because in the early morning and during night it's getting so cold.
Freezing.
We were underestimating that so much, so during night we were so freezing. And for the night you should also bring your own sleeping bag and bring a warm sleeping bag.
Yeah.
The second thing is bring mosquito spray. Enough mosquito spray, because especially in a malaria area, you don't want to get stung by mosquitoes. So bring your mosquito spray and of course your malaria pills. And another important thing is of course a working credit card and enough cash to tip your tour guides.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Julie is having a very cold shower. The showers in this hotel are cold. And now we're getting ready for the safari.
Okay, safari day 1. Yay! So on the first day, of course, our guides picked us up. We had awesome guides during the whole trip. We had Sadi as a tour guide, and Mudi was our cook. And yeah, we went on a jeep and drove through the national park. The first stop was, like we said, the Tarangire National Park. The whole ride was already amazing before we saw the first animals. But this was only how it started. So in the first 3 hours, we saw already many animals. We saw some wild beasts and zebras, of course. We saw some giraffes, some monkeys, and of course, already some elephants.
And even though we already saw some lions far, far, far away from us, the highlight of our first day was a river where we went after our lunch break, and we saw some elephants and giraffes, and they were drinking in the water, playing around, and it was so amazing to see that.
Now we're having a little lunch break here, and we're going to eat here. And this is the view. There are elephants. And here's one important tip, because we were really happy that we already saw so many animals on the first day, and we did some research before and found out there are several seasons where you only can see a couple of animals. And then our guide told us that in Tanzania it's actually possible to see like all the animals the whole year long.
In the evening, we left the park to stay at an accommodation in the north of the Lake Manyara, and we had a really good night because we still had real beds, because we were staying at like little bungalows or luxury tents, and it was so nice.
We show you our tent where we're sleeping. This is the first night we're outside of the national park, of course, and sleep here, and tomorrow morning we go to Serengeti. But we show you the tent now. Okay, let's go.
So come in.
Ooh.
This is our bed. Really nice. I mean, it's a real luxury tent. And here is our private bathroom.
We even have a hot shower. And before going to bed, we had a really nice dinner cooked by our cook, and had a, let's say, a bit touristy dancing show they prepared for us. I mean, it was okay to watch, also a little bit awkward, but it was a good first day.
On our second day, we woke up early, we had a really nice breakfast, and then we packed our stuff and went to the Serengeti National Park. And on our way there, we had a quick stop at the top of the Ngorongoro crater.
We are at the edge of the crater, and now we go into the park. So just before entering the Serengeti National Park, we already saw a lion. This was the perfect start, seriously.
Yeah, it was incredible because it was actually a walking lion.
Yeah.
So the lion was walking just in front of our car and stayed next to our car. So we took amazing pictures.
And then we had a lunch break straight away with a nice viewpoint before really entering the park. So what we can really say is that the Serengeti National Park is amazing. We were really surprised how many different animals we were able to see. And one big highlight of the day was an eye staring contest with this huge guy. Look at this. And the second highlight for all of us definitely was this leopard. We were lucky as fuck.
Because we had this amazing date with this leopard while sunset, we came so late. We came so late to our campsite in the Serengeti National Park.
So after an awesome day, we just arrived at our campsite. They're going to make the tents ready and then we have dinner.
And this was a real camping experience. So we had nothing but our tent. We had like those little washing rooms where you couldn't get a shower, where you had no toilet flush, but you had some spiders and frogs, really nice. But still, it was a really nice experience because it was so true. It was so nice to stay at that campsite during the night.
So this was our second day of our safari trip. We have to wake up really early tomorrow morning.
Time to go to bed.
Yeah. On the third day, we started really early in the morning, around 5 o'clock. Yeah, without having breakfast because we wanted to have this morning game ride. That's how they call it. Which is actually a really good idea because we started this day with some baby hyenas next to the car.
Yeah, and we saw so many different animals because in the early morning hours, they are still awake because during the morning, they're going to try to find their food. And during midtime, it's hot. They are full with food. They're tired. So it's a little bit harder to find those animals. So early morning rides is always a really good idea. And one of my highlights were tons of hippos we found in a lake. I mean, it was crazy. They were all cuddling together and it was so cute to find those. And I think the second highlight of this day were lions. A lot of lions. So we were driving on a road. And on this road, there were like a few trees, like every, 500 meters or something. And under every tree, we found a lion sleeping. And it was like, okay, first stop, found a lion, amazing. Second tree, lion. Third tree, lion. And on, more lions. So like, I think at the 7th tree, we were like, okay, we already saw a lion. Let's go on, find something else. And in the evening, we went to another campsite at the top of the
Ngorongoro National Park.
Crater. Thank you. Doesn't matter. And it was really, really nice because at the entrance, we found like zebras and a huge elephant really on the field of our campsite. It was so cool.
Tents. And we show you an elephant.
And also it was a really nice campsite because in the evening we had hot showers. And because of the height of the crater, it was so freezing cold at the night. So we really needed those hot showers.
The fourth day also started with an early morning game drive.
Again at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. But again, it was really worth it because we went into the Ngorongoro crater. Like we were driving downhill until we were in the crater to see the animals. And one of the first things we saw was actually a lion family.
Or many lion families.
Yeah, all together, like baby lions, huge lions. They were playing, seriously, like playing around. And it was the perfect start of the day.
And then we finally made it to finish the big 5 because the one missing thing was a rhino and we found one. We have to admit it was really far away, like this tiny, far away at the horizon. We saw it through our binoculars and that counts for us.
And after this day, we happily drove back to Arusha, listening to music, dancing in the car. I think we were all sleeping because we were quite exhausted. But yeah, I mean, what can we say? At the end, to summarize it, it was the perfect safari.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I think we would definitely go back, do it again because it was so amazing to see those animals. We had amazing tour guides. We had so much fun. I think book me a flight. I will go there tomorrow again.
Yeah, and definitely check out Simba Adventures because we were really, really happy.
Absolutely.
And this is no advertising. We just booked it and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple of extra days in Arusha. We're not so sure if you need to do it. We just booked our flight to Zanzibar like a little bit later. That's why we had to spend some time there. We did some tours, some walking safaris, which we maybe can recommend. And of course, there's much more to do, but we didn't have the time for that. For example, you can also climb the Kilimanjaro and see more waterfalls, go to more markets. Do some research on that. Of course, you will find more to do.
But our time on Tanzania was over, so we booked a driver who drove us to the airport. I think it was, again, about $50. And then we went to Zanzibar for our next amazing experience.
But this will be another video, so if you don't want to miss it, don't forget to subscribe. Jambo.
Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana.
Na 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 na. Kinya na na. Hakuna matata.